I aim to motivate and inspire viewers to see the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 43 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I am your host. I apologize in advance for background noises, cars driving by, and there's some hammering in the background from a building site across the road. So I hope that doesn't translate too loudly in the sound that my phone is recording. I'm recording without a microphone because I've been having some problems with my microphone, and my phone seems to be dealing quite well with the recording directly of the sound. So let me know if that's not the case and you believe it should change. If I don't hear anything, I will assume that it's okay. In today's episode, I have an update on my knitting, bit of guilt tripping on my knitting as well. And in the Layercakes section of the podcast, the second half of the podcast, I talk in more detail about the white shirt. I've been getting some questions and requests for more information as to whether the shirt can be worn oversized. The answer is yes, and I will show you in a lot more detail how you could wear a shirt that is bigger than your other Layercakes and combine it with your existing Layercakes, and how that sits and feels and looks differently on your body. However, first, before talking about Layercake, an update on my knitting. Right, well, jumping straight in, the last 2 weeks I've been pretty much exclusively working on my Talvinen sweater, which is hanging here. It is actually getting quite close to completion. The body is completely finished, and one of the sleeves is as well. I'm about halfway, or almost 3/4 actually, with the other sleeve. I'm holding it together here with my needles with the ball of yarn tucked inside so it won't roll away. In fact, I'm actually quite close to doing the color work on the second sleeve, and then it'll be finished. So I thought I'd kind of talk you through what the project has been, how the project has been for me, and what the modifications are that I've made, because what you're looking at here is not exactly the way the jumper is supposed to be looking. I'll talk you through it. First of all, the first section is completely according to the pattern. I actually bought a kit that is suitable to knit the either third or fourth size out of, there's 10 sizes in total, and I bought a kit that was for the second bracket of sizes, so that was for a 40 to 44 inch bust. The jumper is supposed to be knitted with about 4 inches of positive ease, and I thought, oh, that'll work well then if I go for a 44 inch bust. However, between buying the kit and starting the knitting, I decided that actually I was going to go one size bigger than that, and I should have bought a bigger kit for that. My kit came with 5 hanks of 50 grams of the main color, and then 1 hank each of the 2 complementary colors. You can already see here what's happening, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So I started working on what is in the pattern called size 5, which is going to result in a bust of 48 inches. So I started knitting, and when I got to about this point, just finishing the heads of the birds, I checked my gauge and realized that actually I was knitting at a tighter gauge than I should be. I was knitting with either 3 or, what have I got here? I was knitting with 3 1/4 millimeter needles, and my gauge was too small. So I changed to 3.5mm needles. In the pattern, the idea is that you have the option, if you want to give the jumper a slight A-line shape, to gradually increase your needle size as you knit further down the bottom of the body of the jumper, which of course is going to increase your gauge and thereby create a bit of an A-line. So what I did is, rather than doing that further along, I did that here and went to a 3.5mm needle, and that's what I'm still knitting on now. So I should have increased my needle size further as I went down the body, because I did want that A-line shape, but I didn't do that because with the fabric that I was getting on the 3.5mm needle, I did not feel comfortable going to a bigger size needle. I figured that I was not going to like the looseness and the openness of my stitches, and I did not want to combine stitches that were too open, in my opinion, with the color work down here. So I stuck with 3.5mm needle, and when remeasuring, I got very close to gauge. So I stuck with that size, and then I actually just measured it just before. I also have the bust measurement, that of the 48-inch bust measurement underarm spot on. So I was very happy with that. But as I was knitting, and I got to about this point on the body, we were also very busy producing the white shirts, and I adore that graduated hemline that the white shirt has, just like the duster, for example. That shaping I really like. So I thought, what about putting that shaping in this jumper? So I came up with the idea of adding short rows in the back. And the way I did that, first of all, I used the German short rows, which hide the increased number of rows so effectively that you can't really, only when you look very up close, you see that a slight difference in angle between stitches. They go, oh, so that must be where those short rows live. But you can only see that from up close, and from a distance, it looks completely fine and flat. So what I did was, from about, let me see if I can even find it. Yes, from about this point onwards, I took like the first 50 or so stitches in the back, started short rowing, and then increasing the number of stitches that I was doing the short rows on gradually. I had done calculations so that at the beginning of my exercise, I was knitting the first 50 stitches, and at the end of my increasing or short row exercise, I would get to a point where the middle 50 stitches on the front would not be included in my short rows. So it's got a wedge that starts here and then gradually gets wider in the back, and that then creates this lovely drop of the back gradually down. Do you see what I mean with that? So without the increases, this would have been a straight line, and with that extra wedge, that you get this gradual drop, and that creates the graduated hemline at the bottom. And those short rows are completely hidden. So when I finished, I then added a couple of more rounds of just the plain knitting, and then I started my color work, and that's worked out really well. I've got about a 6-inch difference between the length of the jumper in front and back. I haven't actually checked to see how that relates to what the jumper should be like in length. So I just kept going, and I thought, well, worst case scenario, if I run out of yarn, then I will order more, obviously. But it hasn't been the case. I've still got like just over half a ball left, and that's going to be plenty to finish my second sleeve. Because the other thing that I've done is I have knitted the sleeves, or I am knitting the sleeves differently from the pattern. That's my other modification. Instead of a long sleeve that then decreases the stitches quite a lot at the end of the color work, and knitting a fitted cuff, of quite a wide fitted cuff, I've only decreased a little bit. I've started my color work a lot earlier, decreased a little bit, and then did a fairly loose cuff of only about an inch in length, similar to what I've got here in the 1-1 rib, which is also different from what I did at the bottom of the body, because I did a garter stitch here that should have been a 1-on-1 rib as well, but I didn't want to bring in the bottom edge of the jumper. I wanted to create that flary look, so I went for a garter stitch here, and I've gone for a very plain and not very long 1-on-1 rib at the bottom of my sleeve. The sleeve should have been another 3 inches or so longer, but at this length they hit me at about the same point that this sleeve sits on my arm here, which is a length that I really like. And I also liked the idea of being able to wear this jumper over the top of a white shirt, being able to either have the cuffs stick out or fold the cuffs over the bottom of the sleeves, and have the bottom of the shirt peeping out here, and then, you know, that nice round collar here at the top. So whether it's going to work like that, we don't know yet. I promise to show you next time. Meanwhile, I was merrily going along with one hank too little in my main color, and the other thing that would have been different if I would have bought the appropriate kit size for the bust size of the jumper that I was knitting, was a second hank of this color. So instead I decided to play yarn chicken. I weighed my little ball of yarn when I got to the start of the color work on sleeve 1, and I thought, as long as I don't use more than half of what I've got left, then I'll be able to do both sleeves. That has worked a treat. I've got more than half left, and one of the reasons that I have more than one half left is that the last 3 rows have little lines, little vertical lines of the turquoise stitches, which means that only 1 in every 6 stitches is turquoise, and then of course you get the floats running behind. So rather than doing that, because of course also that's happening right at the end of your knitting, so I've got floats further up, but at the end, instead of knitting the color work the way it's supposed to be done, what I did instead was knit those 3 rows in my main color, and then I Swiss darned or duplicate stitched those stitches on top, so I don't have the floats in the back, and that of course saves me some yarn. Now I did, strictly speaking, have enough yarn to do it as normal color work, but I thought, you know, why not? It's nice not to have those extra long floats here, and it'll mean that I'm playing it extra safe. So that's what I've gone for, and it means that I've got enough for my second sleeve. So far so good. I can't remember a time when I played it that close, but I'm really pleased with the result. This is the colorway that the original jumper was knitted in, and I was being very boring and saw that combination. I thought, yeah, that's actually the combination that I love. It's not a color that I would normally wear in that orangey spectrum, but I couldn't help myself. I had to try that, and I absolutely love the result. I will show you photos in a future episode of me wearing it, hopefully with a white shirt. Okay, so the yarn is the yarn that was recommended for the pattern. It's Biche et Bûche Le Petit Lamb's Wool. These colors are dark orange grey, that's the main color. Then this is grey brown, which I just think just zings with the orange, and this color is called turquoise. So those are the 3 originals, but like I said, there's lots of other options as well. There's a beautiful range of colors in this yarn, and I'm still besotted with it. I love this yarn to bits. So what am I going to follow this with? Well, actually, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I took a photograph when we were doing some work in the garden. I'll show the photograph here. And it is a photograph of the main stem of a very old fuchsia bush that I've got in front of my house. And as you can see, in places the bark is completely gone. And where the bark is gone, you get this underlayer exposed with these beautiful purple and fuchsia-like raspberry colors. But then there's the color of the bark as well, and there's the green around it. All together, I thought, oh my gosh, what a beautiful inspirational photograph for another pattern that's very popular at the moment and doing the rounds on Instagram, called the Scout shawl. Now, I don't think I've ever done an accessory, a shawl that is completely color work. As you know, I've said it before, I'm not actually a big fan of color work, but I seem to be obsessing over it, and I keep returning to it at the moment. So I don't know what that's about. So I'm quite tempted to put a set of yarns together in the inspired color combination from my photograph to do a Scout shawl. But I also have more slow wardrobe knitting to do, really. I promised you that I would show the sweater surgery that I still have to do on my Carlina jumper. Remember that bottom row of small flowers that just feels too tight around my arms, where I'm gonna cut it open, re-knit those 5 rows, and then graft the whole thing together again. That's the plan. Not only to do that, but to show that to you by filming it. So that's a tall order, and I have to commit probably a day to that. It's filming and working that here at the studio. But my husband is asking for a jumper for him, and it's true, I haven't knitted him a jumper for a long time, so it would be lovely to knit him another jumper. But my socks are also calling me. I love knitting socks, as you know, and I had started to do some work on some really small designs, like a little heart and little star for the linen, and I wanted to do more with that. I also am keen to revisit a design that I did years ago and never published, of a stripy shawl that I think would look fantastic in the linen. So there are a whole bunch of things that are swirling around in my head, and I haven't decided yet whether I'm just going to do something mindless and follow somebody else's pattern, or do some more design work and provide more pattern support for my lovely linen. The jury is out. If you have an opinion on this and want to push me in a particular direction, then be my guest. Let me know what you think. Any opinions and guidance is very helpful and very welcome at this stage. That's it. So that's it for my knitting this time. I'm not sure actually when I'm going to be able to publish the next episode, because 2 weeks from now, which is when I normally would publish the next episode, I'll be in the car making my way back down from the Scottish borders, where my husband and I are going to spend a couple of days that week. I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe, well, I should have this finished by then. Maybe I can bring my stuff and do some recording while we are there, and do some recording of wearing the jumper out and about. Who knows? I don't dare make any promises yet, but the bottom line is that I'm not sure yet when I'm going to be able to publish that next episode. So apologies in advance if that episode is delayed. I will keep you posted and let you know in advance what's happening with that. Meanwhile, we're only halfway through episode 43. So without further ado, let's dive into Layercake and have a closer look at what the different sizes of shirts look like. Can you wear it oversized, and can you wear it oversized in combination with your other layer cakes? Enjoy. So, a bit more about the layer cake shirt. I've had some questions about the fit of the different sizes and the idea of wearing the shirt in an oversized way. So I thought I would show you how they compare when I wear the different sizes. Now, I can't fit into a size 0 because I'm a Layercake size 1, just a Layercake size 1. And I'm showing you here what the white shirt looks on me. My bust at the moment is 41 inches. It's flattened a little bit because I'm wearing a bodysuit rather than a bra or a bralette because I'm having to change so often. So I thought I'm just going to pop a bodysuit on, make it easy to drop things on and off. But of course it flattens the girls a little bit, and they're not that big to begin with, but there you have it. It gives you an idea. So this for me would be the standard size of the white shirt if I were to combine it with my other Layercakes in a size 1, that is. So in terms of the armholes, we have made them such that they fit well with other Layercakes. Let me start by showing you a dress which armholes are slightly tighter than the ones on the shirt. Again, done deliberately because it's in combination with a slightly dropped shoulder, and it gives a really good look, a good effect. Let me show you the dress on top of the white shirt. Here it is. Long dress in the dark moth, but very specifically to show you what happens with the arms and armholes and the fit of the dress when you put a shirt underneath it in the corresponding size. There are 1 or 2 other Layercakes where you really should stick to the size of the normal size of your shirt if you want to combine them with the shirt, most notably the apron. So let me show you this with an apron. You've seen me in this before, but again, this is very specifically to show you what happens with the shirt when you put the apron over the top. If I were to wear a bigger shirt underneath, the extra fabric would all have to bunch up inside here and be squished back down to my body, and you'd end up with a lot of extra fabric here in the back, which is something that you can do, but the effect of the apron is that it pulls around you and creates that waistline by pulling tighter in the back. And of course, the more fabric you fill underneath here, the more it expands. If that doesn't bother you, then you can absolutely do that, but it's not what I would recommend. So with the apron, I would recommend wearing the same size shirt. Now, depending on what Layercakes you want to combine it with though, you can play around with this because the armholes of the play suits and the smocks and tabards and mini tabards are a little bit bigger than the armholes of the dress. So they're also bigger than the armholes of the shirt. So I'll start with putting a mini tabard in the size 1 with the dress size 1, and then we'll start playing with the shirt size 1, and then we'll start playing with the shirt size and make it bigger, so you can see what happens when you wear a bigger shirt under a smaller tunic. Let's see what happens. First, the mini tabard. Okay, so here it is. Size 1 mini tabard, size 1 shirt. As you can see, for the rest of the outfit, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. This is the regular length palazzo, so cropped on me. Just wear it with, kind of casually wearing it with a pair of light colored sneakers to kind of combine it nicely with the shirt and go for a more everyday look, a little bit more dressy. I think I was wearing them with the little flat ballerinas last time, the little black ones, which of course makes the whole outfit a little bit more dressy. It's one of the things that I like so much about a white shirt, that you can take it in all those different directions, and because it's white and very neutral, it'll go with anything. Talking about white, I am bringing the shirt back later on in the year in other colors. I just thought that with summer on the horizon, we hope, that white was a nice one to start with, but I will start doing other colors. So back to the size 1 shirt. I'm going to take the mini tabard off so you can have another look at the size 1 shirt as it sits on me, and then swap that for a size 2 so you can see without any other garments over the top at first what that's like. So I'll take this off, bear with me. So it's sitting all right on me, but there we go. So size 1 shirt. And let's swap it. I'll try and stand in exactly the same position for a size 2. Size 2. Can you see how the shoulders are a little bit further dropped down? Everything looks a little bit longer on me. It's not because it's cut longer, but of course because the bust circumference of this shirt is bigger, then everything moves out a little bit. And if I don't fill that with my torso, then it drops down my shoulders. And that's what's happening. So these sleeves are just slightly longer. The shirt seems slightly longer. And it's just because I'm not filling it as much. So if I would have more of a size 2 bust, in fact, the mannequin here, that's set up to have a size 2 bust at the moment. So that's like 45, 46 bust. And that's how the size 2 sits on that. Everything gets filled a little bit more and therefore is up a little bit more. But as an oversized look, of course, this is great. And you can wear that underneath a whole bunch of layer cakes as well. I would not try to team this with a size 1 dress because it would try and pull it in here too much. But let's see what happens. I haven't actually tried this yet myself. Let's see what happens with a size 1 tunic with that bigger armhole. Let's see if that works, or whether I would have to go to a size 2 tunic to make it work. This is interesting. See, I think that works a treat. See that? Now you can also see, but because there is more fabric, because of that A-line, again, your tunic will be filled up a little bit more. So this will jut out just a little bit more now than it did with my size 1 shirt. But there's not much in it, and I think that looks great. So the fabric getting bunched up is hardly happening at all at these armholes. Let's see what happens when I replace this size 1 for a size 2. In terms of space and whatever, it's all fine. It's very comfortable. It's not tight on me anywhere. And I think the size 2 shirt looks great. So except for the dress, which has the slightly smaller armhole, I would say that across the and the apron, because of the extra fabric all being bunched at the back with the way it pulls around you, I would say that apart from the dress and the apron, you could wear your shirt a size bigger than all your other layer cakes and it would look great together. Now, what about if you have layer cakes in a size 2, but they're a little bit big on you? How would that work with the size 2 shirt? Let me swap this size 1 for a size 2 and see how that sits on me. Because of course I've got more fabric than underneath filling it up. So if I'm a size 1 and I'm wearing a size 2 shirt and a size 2 mini tabard, what happens? Let's see. Here it is. Size 2 mini tabard over a size 2 shirt on a size 1 body. So everything is roomy and everything is loose. And it looks good. Of course, what you now have is, because there is more fabric here, you don't run that the mini tabard sits on and is being held in place by, you don't run the risk as easily that this would start slipping off your shoulder. With those big armholes, if you wear a fitted top underneath and you're a size smaller than the top that you're wearing, then you run the risk that it literally kind of cantilevers off you. That risk disappears when you wear a looser top. So if you are one of the people that in this past crazy year that we've had has lost weight and your layer cakes all feel too roomy and feel like they're falling off you, wear them with a bigger top, wear them oversized on purpose. And it's actually a really nice look. The whole idea behind layer cake is that you can bulk up and shrink a little bit within a certain range, and the tops and tunics will keep fitting you. And this is a good example. So a looser top underneath will actually give structure to what you're wearing on top. Let me show you the same shirt with a size 2 tabard rather than a mini tabard. Let's cover the whole rest of the shirt and then see what that looks like if that tabard is a size 2 as well. Size 2 tabard, size 2 shirt. Loose and comfy, really nice. And of course, because it's not fitted around my top, it's extremely comfortable and easy to move in. And as the weather gets warmer, I wouldn't be that warm in it because it's loose on me everywhere. And that is something to keep in mind. If you find that, especially with our heavier linen, you find it feeling restricted and too warm in the summer, try and wear it more loose. And with a shirt like this, that's a very easy thing to do. It's a lovely, relaxed look. And, you know, with the little pair of sneakers, pair of trousers, these could be jeans, more fitted jeans, for example, or a pair of our baggies, would look great as an outfit. Right, I'm going to go back to the size 2 shirt without anything over the top, and then I'm going to swap it for a size 3 shirt and see what happens there. Go another size bigger and see how that affects how it sits on me. Here we go. Right, so size 2 shirt, back to its basics. Look at the shoulder lines and how long it is on me, where and how it flows on me. And now we'll go to a size 3. Size 3. See how the sleeves are just that little bit longer, the shoulders are just that little bit lower. And all of a sudden, we're looking at this lovely flowing artist smock. That's the effect of wearing the bigger sizes. We have cut them all in such a way that they will sit great on larger bodies, but on smaller bodies, they have enough structure to sit beautifully too. Now I'm tall, but if I wouldn't be tall, as tall as this, then my torso would still have a very similar size, and this size 3 would look good on me too. And just like with the others, you can wear this underneath garments as well. Again, you have to be more careful what you combine it with, but we've got a couple of one size fits all garments that this would go really well with. Let me show you this shirt, a size 3 shirt under a duster, for example. There, see that? Size 3 duster, size 3 shirt. Well, effectively size 3 duster, because one size fits all. Cut in a way that they fit beautifully together. Of course, I can go down to the smaller size shirts underneath, and that looks fine. But what I'm trying to show is that even if you have this shirt severely oversized, there are still layer cakes that you can wear it under rather than just over. And the length and everything is cut in such a way that it won't look out of proportion, even worn with cropped trousers. I folded up the sleeves. What do we think? Let's try a step top, because that's a large size as well, isn't it? Here is the step top of old, with its huge circumference, our super oversized garment, which I still absolutely adore. But like I said in the newsletter last week, we've listened, you asked, you kept telling me that this was too much. And some of you have embraced it and are running with it and are loving the larger step top. But I've had requests for a smaller one. So we're making a smaller one. And we are having a pre-order for them open at the moment until the middle of May. And then we'll produce them in the second half of May. So there's the big one. And the way it sits on a size 3 shirt. Now I'm going to show you the small step top and show you how that combines with a size 3 shirt, because you'll be surprised. The small step top, size 3 shirt, and look, this step top is 3 inches shorter front and back. It's 8 inches smaller in circumference, but that still easily fits a size 3 bust. The sleeves are shorter, you can see that, they're considerably shorter. The other sleeves disappeared underneath my cuffs. These do not. So what that means is that if a size 1 or size 0 wears this top, back to that point of not filling as much of the body of it, so the sleeves will drop down further down their shoulders because their shoulders will be narrower. And as a result, everything will look in proportion. They won't feel like they're drowning in it. And we've tried this already on a couple of size 0s who say, yep, thumbs up, this works for me. The other one was just too much, but this is fine. However, you can see that you can go all the way up to a size 3 and it would work. So I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you have any questions about it. At the moment, we are producing our production run of aprons that we had a pre-order for running in April. And right now the pre-order is for the extra large palazzos. This is the large, but we have a pre-order for extra large palazzos in the regular and long length, and for the step tops. Either size, but the production run is really meant to give you an opportunity to sign up for a reduced price in the smaller step top. Lots of, well, I think all the colors are still available. So that's running for another week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll see you again soon.